Today, I'm bringing you a battle against Smogon user Ryere. This battle was very weird. You just gotta watch and see it. It was really weird, but the first thing that I noticed when I look at his team is that he's running 3 dragons, so that's automatically going to give this team trouble because once Bronzong faints, he can really just run through this team. I was actually glad that he didn't have Haxorus because it seems Haxorus is like the ultimate dragon to counter the levitators, so that's good. But the main dragon Pokemon that I'm worried about is Latios and Salamence, since if I can quickly get Stealth Rocks up and his Dragonite does not have Roost, I should be able to take it out with the Bronzong, since Bronzong has Hidden Power Ice. His Rotom is probably going to be Spexed or Scarfed, maybe Spexed, and maybe his Latios is the one that's Scarfed. I'm pretty sure that his Ferrothorn is just a standard full special wall. Nothing to really worry about, and his Darmanitan's either going to be Life Orbed or Choice Banded. That's really like the only type of Darmanitan that I see nowadays. So if he catches me off guard due to not studying the Darmanitan, then I guess it's going to be my fault. But I believe that he thought I was going to begin with the Politoed, so he was going to begin with the Rotom or the Ferrothorn to try and get up some early Stealth Rocks or Spikes. So the battle is going to begin, and he is indeed going to begin with his room, and I'm just going to begin with Politoed and Putnam because I'm trying to get up the rain as quickly as possible, and I can just quickly switch out into my Bronzong like I do here. I already knew that he was going to Volt Switch, but it really didn't bother me. I was thinking that he'd probably send in Darmanitan to scare me out and do another U-turn, but he just sends in Ferrothorn, so I'm thinking he's just going to go for Stealth Rocks of his own, so I don't bother switching. I just go for the Stealth Rocks of my own. Now here, I'm thinking that he's going to go for the Leech Seed, and because of the Rain Dish, I'm just going to send in the Tentacruel, but he goes for the Thunder Wave, so I didn't expect Thunder Wave on the Ferrothorn, but it didn't really, I guess, bother me too much, since I'm still going to set up a substitute, and seeing how I'm faster, I know that he's running Gyro Ball and not Power Whip, so that's pretty good for me. His Leech Seed misses, so I'm glad that I subbed. I know that he's going to switch, so I'm just going to go for the Toxic, so Rotom will eventually get worn down, since Rotom is going to be slightly irritating for this particular team that I'm using. So here I think that he's going to Volt Switch, but he misclicks and uses Trick, so I went for the substitute again. That way whatever comes in will have to break the sub. He's going to withdraw, so maybe he was expecting me to like go for a Toxic and something like that, or a Scald. But now here he goes for the Dragon Claw, and I was thinking that he'd probably just Dragon Dance up, but I get the Parahax this turn, so I wasn't able to see if he was Lumberry, Choice Band, or Choice Scarf, which was kind of unfortunate for me. So he's just going to go for another Dragon Claw, which does about 63 damage, so I was thinking he's probably Choice Scarf, since Bandit would have probably did about 80 or 90 damage. Here I'm just going to go for the Hidden Power Ice, which he predicts, and he just sends in his Rotom and gets a crit, which doesn't even really matter. Here I'm just going to stay in with Bronzong, thinking that he's going to go for the Volt Switch again, and I would just do Hidden Power Ice again. But he predicts that very well, and he goes straight for the Hydro Pump, taking out the Bronzong. So now his Dragons can wreak havoc on this team, so I'm going to send in my own Rotom and just Volt Switch, so maybe I won the speed tie, or maybe he was running like Hidden Power Fire, so if we were both Scarfed, I'd be 1 point faster. I'm just going to send the Tentacruel back in, because Tentacruel can pretty much take a hit from whatever he sends out, except the Salamence, which he does send out again. So here I'm thinking that he's Scarfed, and I know that he's going to go for the Earthquake, so I send in the Hydreigon to levitate over it. But here I was really wishing that that Toxic had hit, because he was indeed Expert Belted. He was not a Choice Scarf, so Hydreigon just died in vain. Had my Toxic hit with my Tentacruel, I would have seen that, he wasn't Expert Belted, excuse me. He was Lumberry with Dragon Dance, but he was waiting to sweep, so I would have been able to see that. But I'm going to take him out with the Thunder because I'm Scarfed, and I'm going to switch out because Ferrothorn was going to wall those thunders all day. So he makes a very good prediction, and he counter switches into Darmanitan. I'm pretty sure he's expecting me to switch out, so he's probably just going to go for the U-turn. I'm just going to stay in since I'm physically bulky, and Flare Blitz would probably be like a 3-hit KO with Rain Dish and all that stuff. So he's going to send in his Dragonite, Spyro. That brings back memories, but my Toxic misses, so that was pretty unfortunate, because now I'm thinking that it's game over because I really don't have anything that can defeat this Dragonite. I'm thinking that he's going to get like 4, 5, or 6 Dragon Dances, so here I'm basically just scalding, hoping for that 30% burn, like that 30% that kicks in when noobs use Sheer Cold and all those other moves. It hits like 4 or 5 times in a row. He's going to go straight for the Dragon Claw just to see how much damage it does, and it does roughly about 65% damage, so I'm thinking that it's going to come down to a matter of minimal and maximum damage, and I was like, well, he can basically just sweep by continuing to Dragon Dance, but he makes a very odd move, and he goes into his Latios. I'm not quite sure why he switched into Latios. He could have destroyed my whole team, basically. I don't know, I'll have to ask him that maybe. But the battle's going to continue with him Draco Meteoring the Tentacruel to the face, so I didn't want to switch out because since Bronzong is done, nothing can take Dragon moves, and I take note that he's Life Orbed, which I guess is kind of good because my Rotom can outspeed it, even though I know that he's just going to send the Ferrothorn right back in since it walls everything that this Rotom can do. And I knew that he'd send in the Ferrothorn, but I didn't want to trick because I need this Scarf to outspeed like the remainder of his team. So I'm just going to send in Roserade, thinking that he's going for a Leech Seed of some sort, but he makes a good play and just goes for the Thunder Wave. And during this battle, this guy was taking like 30 seconds to 1 minute for each move, so I was like thinking, what are we playing, chess? But you can tell this guy really likes to calculate all the moves that he does, so I have to give him credit. I was somewhat rushing, so I suppose I made some reckless moves. But here I was thinking that I could survive a Flare Blitz because I do have defense investment, but no, I should have known that Choice Band Darmanitan is not something you should mess around with. So I'm just going to send in and Putnam, knowing that I can take a Flare Blitz easily since I'm max defense, max HP, and I'm going to finish him off with a Scald. So here I'm thinking the game is still over because he still has Dragonite, he still has Latios, and he still has the Ferrothorn. But now I'm just like, well, if I can burn this Ferrothorn, I still have a chance of winning because I already know that he's just going to go for a Leech Seed from here. And I do get the burn, so I'm thinking, well, there's still hope right now because I have Protect. And I can play Mind Games while switching between Politoed and Rotom. But if he predicts that, he could probably just go for a Leech Seed again, which is honestly what I would have done from this point since Politoed can't hurt the Ferrothorn. But instead he decides to go for the Gyro Ball. Another good option that he could have made was go for the Thunder Wave since the Rotom is Scarf. That would have definitely sealed the deal for him. And here I'm just going to go for the Hydro Pump because with the burn it will be a 2-hit KO. God forbid Hydro Pump misses, but it hasn't missed so far. So I feel pretty good about continuing to use it. He gets some Leech Seed recovery, but the burn's going to take him into that KO range. He knows this, so he's going to just Death Fodder his Dragonite, which thanks to the rain is going to, a Hydro Pump is going to easily take him out from where he is. And here he's going to send in his Latios, and I'm thinking, well, I don't think Hydro Pump's going to take him out. But I'm glad that it didn't miss because since he's Life Orb and he does not have Recover, this is going to take him out. So now it pretty much comes down to the wire of Ferrothorn versus Politoed, and what he does not know is that I have Protect, so that is going to get me into the range to destroy this thing next turn with Scald. So this was an extremely weird game. We both made really questionable moves, but I hope that you all enjoyed. This is UnhappyCarousel signing out. Please comment, rate, subscribe, and have a nice day. By the way, if I don't upload for the next 2 or 3 days, it's because I'm going to be playing Resident Evil 6. So hang in there and don't give up on me.